Analog just showed off the Analog 3D, and it's not for me because I got something way better.
Okay.
8-bit joystick. FPGA console maker Analogue finally showed off their eagerly anticipated Analog 3D, which is an FPGA console that can play N64. Some people are really excited for that, and I knew that it was coming, but I don't think it's for me. And here's why, because I think I have something better. Now, what, pray tell, is that? It's actually an original N64 that I've already kitted out with various upgrades. Now, the Nintendo 64 was already a technical revolution when it came out, and it features a lot of proprietary collaboration between Nintendo and Silicon Graphics, and it really represented a huge leap forward in what was possible in 3D graphics. Sure, they look a little primitive by today's standards, but I was there when we first saw the N64 demos and jaws dropped. So, Analog is claiming that they have achieved 100% accuracy, and that's good. However, I already have a 100% accurate way to play N64 games, and that's on an original N64. But then you say, the Analog 64 supports wireless controllers. Well, I have the Retro Fighter wireless N64 gamepad. So I guess the original system already supports wireless controllers. Also, original controllers with rumble packs and such. But the Analog 3D can play any region of N64 games? Well, so can the original N64 if you just buy a universal cartridge tray adapter and install it on your N64. Or get an EverDrive. That's what I did. I have an EverDrive 64, and it can play every single N64 game, American and Japanese. Another awesome thing it can do is it can actually play N64 DD games without having to get an N64 DD drive. So I can play Donshin the Giant, or I can mess around in Mario Artist 64. But you say the Analog 3D can simulate a CRT TV? Well, why would you need to do that? I already have a great CRT TV. I have a really great CRT TV, and this is my Panasonic TV that I got for free because someone was looking to get rid of it. I also have a little Orion CRT. I also have a 14-inch Toshiba CRT, and I have a big boy JVC D series, 27-inch CRT, and my N64 can hook up to all of them in glorious composite AV or S video. The original N64 and most Super Nintendo and Super Famicoms and GameCube can output RGB directly out of the system, and you could hook it up using whatever cable you can want to take advantage of it. Now, the N64 was released when CRT TVs still ruled the roost, and personally, I think that they look a lot better on an original CRT TV, especially the trilinear mapping and the lower resolution 3D looked especially good on a CRT TV. The N64 wasn't always the most high resolution, but it looked really fluid, and personally, I think aesthetically it looks best on a CRT TV. Now this is a $30 Hyperkin HDMI adapter that will take the RGB signal out of the N64, and it gives you pretty darn crisp HDMI output that you can then run into any HDMI-based LCD TV. I have a 4K Roku TV right here, and it looks great. But then you say, what about scan lines? Well, I have a $35 scanline generator, and I can manually tweak the scan lines how I want. What if you're a retro video game YouTuber and you want to stream and capture N64 games? Well, I can already do that just by moving the system, or I could keep it in place and plug it into my 35-foot HDMI cord that I can run from my computer system and capture some really dope footage. That's what I'm doing right now. Another cool thing about my Retro Fighters controller is I can leave my N64 and I can play it about 25 feet away thanks to the magic of 2.4G wireless connectivity, which I think is a lot more reliable and quicker than Bluetooth, especially when you're talking about original hardware. Now, I'm sure that the Analog 3D will support their DAC, so you could hook it up to an analog TV if you want, or a PVM monitor or something like that. But you can already do that with original hardware, and it's not hard at all. Personally, I'm sure that there are some people that are into RetroTink hardware that's already scoffing at my rather low-tech solution, but It works for me, and I think it's fun. And I really like messing with the actual dials on my scanline generator. I think that it's a lot easier to get more out of the existing hardware that you already have than to buy a dedicated FPGA system. I think that FPGA consoles are neat if you're big into N64 collecting, and then it's pretty cool to have a new way to play your existing games. And I like the N64 library, but I'm not that big into collecting N64 cartridges, so this is a system that I prefer to get an EverDrive for, but your mileage may vary. So one of my first popular videos was comparing the Analogue Duo to the PC Engine with a Super System Pro SD. And I think this is a very similar situation. I'm sure that Analogue fans will gladly pre-order this, and that's fine, but I'm glad that there are different options out there. For me, the N64 is a really specialized piece of hardware, and I enjoy the idiosyncratic things about it. Thus, I greatly prefer playing kitted out, upgraded original hardware. But if you plan on pre-ordering the Analogue 3D, then definitely let me know down in the comments. And if you think that you plan on sticking with original hardware, and then also let me know down in the comments. Yes, this is an absolute cynical ploy to increase viewer engagement, but I legitimately like talking to my viewers in the comments. I mean, I'm not a big A-list YouTuber who never actually responds to comments or gives hearts or likes. I like, honest to God, read all the comments and actually reply to them. So I'm glad to see that more and more game systems are being considered retro, and more game systems are getting the FPGA treatment. However, I am happy with what I have as far as original hardware, including the N64 with all its warts and weirdnesses. Yes, weirdnesses is the word. Hey, I also make longer videos and I publish them each weekend, and I also make shorter videos like this whenever the fancy hits me. And if you would consider liking this video, it would definitely help me out. And also if you would consider subscribing, it would also really help out. This is 8-Bit Joystick. Stay awesome. Play retro.